Nvidia reported fiscal year 2024 first quarter earnings results that truly impressed the market. The stock price was up over 20% on the day following the announcement. So in this video, I was going to bring you the big picture highlights from Nvidia's latest financial results. I was also going to update my recommendation on Nvidia stock. Going into these earnings, I had Nvidia stock rated as a hold, and I'm going to update that recommendation in this video, so you're not going to want to miss that. Let's get right into the earnings results. So total revenue decreased by 13% to 7.2 billion. Earnings per share increased by 28% to 82 cents per share. Although that masked what really happened in the quarter, the increase in earnings per share was due primarily to the fact that last year's earnings in this quarter were depressed by $1.35 billion of an acquisition termination cost. So if you excluded that, then earnings per share would have been down also for Nvidia in the current quarter. The reason Nvidia's revenue and earnings per share would have been down this year compared to last year is Nvidia's sales demand has fallen considerably ever since economies started reopening. Demand for electronics, computer gaming, and all of that has been decreased with inventory at elevated levels. So Nvidia's partners are not demanding Nvidia's products right now because they've already got so much on hand. So they're waiting to sell some of that inventory they have already before they reorder from Nvidia. Due to the slowdown in revenue, the gross profit margin decreased slightly to 64.6%, down from 65.5% year over year. Now you might be thinking, well, sales are down, earnings would have been down, gross profit margin is down. So why did the stock price explode after these results? I will get to that near the end of the video, so stay tuned. Data center segment revenue increased by 14%, and it was a bright spot for Nvidia. This is the segment that's benefiting from the growing demand for artificial intelligence, which many of the companies that use artificial intelligence use Nvidia's GPUs to process the data. So this is the area that Nvidia is thriving in right now. This is the reason why Nvidia's stock price exploded after the earnings, because of the growing demand for Nvidia's GPUs as a result of rising demand and rising interest in artificial intelligence. Nvidia's automotive segment jumped by 114%. And the reason not so many people are talking about Nvidia's automotive segment right now is because it's a relatively small part of its business. It generated only 296 million in revenue. To put it into context, the company generated 7.2 billion in revenue in the most recent quarter. So right now, it's less than 5% of its overall business, but it's growing rapidly and it stands to benefit from the rise of self-driving. Self-driving platforms use GPUs, and this could be a massive tailwind for Nvidia over the next 5 to 10 to 20 years as the self-driving becomes more and more effective, becoming more and more autonomous. Right now, it's just partly autonomous, not completely autonomous. As it becomes closer to becoming fully autonomous, that could be a big driver for Nvidia, demand for Nvidia GPUs longer term. The gaming segment for Nvidia continues to struggle. Revenue dropped by 38% to 2.2 billion. This Nvidia's GPUs are sometimes used for mining cryptocurrencies, and since the price of cryptocurrencies are significantly down from their highs, demand for Nvidia GPUs to mine cryptocurrency has been significantly lowered. This is where Nvidia accounts for that. It doesn't break out that segment specifically, but management has said that the GPUs are used for cryptocurrencies, although they have difficulty to figure out who is buying their GPUs for gaming and who is buying their GPUs for cryptocurrency. It's hard for them to distinguish, so they just lump it together in this segment, and the segment has been struggling, and it did continue that struggle in this current quarter. Nvidia is forecasting second quarter revenue of 11 billion with gross profit margins around 69%. This is where investors were extremely enthusiastic about Nvidia stock. With this huge rebound in its next quarter, think about it, they just reported 7.2 billion in revenue in this quarter, and they're expecting that to jump to 11 billion in the next quarter. That's a big jump, and that got investors excited about Nvidia stock, sending it soaring. And with the rise in revenue, Nvidia is also forecasting a jump in gross profit margin to 69% from the 64.5% in the current quarter. So it's not like Nvidia slashed prices in order to create that boost in demand. That wasn't the case. This is organic boost in demand due to rising artificial intelligence being implemented across many enterprises, and that's created a boost in demand for Nvidia's chips. So a mediocre quarter for Nvidia, but what was very good was the forecast for next quarter. That's what drove Nvidia's stock price higher, is the forecast for next quarter, signaling the rebound that these revenue decreases and declines in earnings per share are likely coming to an end, and the company's returning to growth. And that's what got investors excited. For me, my recommendation going into this quarter was to hold Nvidia stock because of the questionable near-term prospects and the expensive valuation. Now, what has changed is their prospects have improved considerably, but now the valuation adjusted higher. The stock is now 20-25% more expensive than it was, yesterday. So while the prospects have improved, the stock is still expensive, and for me, I'm not a fan of really expensive stocks, even if they have really good prospects. I I try to avoid these situations, and so I would say for me, this stock is still a hold. If you own it, hold it. If you don't own it, I would hold off before buying it. I would wait for a better entry point. There's a lot of hype built into the valuation, and it's just an elevated risk when a stock is so expensive. All right. Now I will admit it's an excellent company with excellent prospects. It's just the stock is so expensive. It's likely already pricing in all of those excellent prospects in the future. All right, that's all I've got for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.